Welcome back to the Hartbeat Podcast, which is now brought to you by BOJANGLES.
It's Bo time.
I'm Jane McGee. I'm with my co-host Zane Hutton, as always.
Howdy, howdy. Today we have a special guest here. It's Miss Hatcliff. She has done a bunch of stuff for theater-wise, as well as anything for like performances and everything. She has done worship concerts, fine arts for the school. She has theater. She does all these things together for the Hartfield and the culture of what our school stands for. So welcome her. Hi, Miss Hatcliff.
Thanks for letting me be here with y'all guys. I'm really excited to talk about something that's really close to my heart. So thanks for letting me share.
I'm excited because I get to be a part this year more into the fine arts section. And when people normally sit and listen and when they think fine arts, they only really think spring musical because that's sort of the big thing we have. But I wanted to talk big picture to start this off. What all does fine arts encompass?
So there's a lot, and we honestly are still working through what it means here at Hartfield. But what I can give you overarching, it includes the performing arts like theater. It includes our worship team from the music side of things. But it also includes things like what y'all are doing here, where you engage creativity. I can do this. Creatively, there's the word I was looking for. It's at the end of the day, and it's a struggle. Where you engage creatively with subject matter. It includes things like learning how to do the live stream, but it also is our visual arts. We've had students come in that also are part of the culinary arts. They make amazing cakes and other things. And so it really has to do with anything that creatively engages our students. So predominantly it is theater, music, visual arts, and then the media arts as well. But we're always growing and trying to find new things to do with that.
That's always interesting to have because usually people don't get to see like the culinary arts and all these other stuff, but like they're always kind of pushed in the background. But it's always good to hear all these things that get to happen here at Hartfield.
Yeah, it's been a really cool thing to watch. Just the different things that our students can do. I think a lot of people assume that, okay, as long as you've got some sort of music program, you've got some sort of theater program, and you've got some sort of visual art program, you're good. But so much of what we do is kind of pushing the boundary of what people assume fine arts are and the ways our students can be creative, not necessarily in a lot of the mainstream ways. We love finding what God has gifted y'all with, and then how can we help y'all expand that and grow in that. And so that's really the cool part of my job. I get to be in the classroom, but in reality, one of my favorite things is just finding out how y'all have different talents and what can we do to engage those and help encourage y'all in those and find new ways to use those.
Especially in today's world where you can do a lot of stuff outside of your traditional math, English, science.
Yes.
And just all these sort of things. It's impressive to see how we can try to encompass a little bit more of the creative side, which I think we do better than a lot of schools in.
I hope so.
Because there's a lot more opportunity. I mean, I never would have thought that I could do sports commentating for this. So it's just interesting to see. But I want to talk about a little bit more in detail since we've got kind of the overview about how we can be creative a little bit just outside of the normal box that most people think they need to be stuck in.
Right.
But going into more, before we talk about how people can get into this program, talking about sort of the specifics so everybody can know what all is happening, I want to move into the worship concerts that have been happening because that's a fairly recent thing.
Yeah. So those actually have sort of been the brainchild of myself, but Mr. DeLauder. And I think it's important for our student body and our school to understand that our administration has been 110-fold behind the fine arts all the way through. It's actually the worship team specifically is something very, very close to my heart, but also Bitten Ingram's heart and Jim DeLauder's heart. And that was something we had all talked about for a very long time, sort of starting as an alumni base to kind of draw some of our alumni back and give our current worship team an opportunity to work with some of those alumni, but also a chance to worship themselves because they lead twice a week. they don't always get the chance to sit in with their fellow students and just enjoy worship. And so the worship concert has many different facets behind it, but essentially being able to bring in some of those alumni and having them play with our current students and giving our current students who are on the team a moment to just relax and enjoy worship in a way that they don't necessarily get to every week. And so, it started about 2 years ago and has just sort of taken off. We have really awesome alumni that are willing to come back. We love seeing them and seeing how they have improved and what they're doing in life. But it's also really fun to get the team back together. Is sort of how we say it. Because we've had some really, if I had all the time in the world, I could give you all the history of it and all the fun details. But the short version essentially is just we've got some really talented students that have come through this building and through this program, and having them give back is huge. And so, we love having a night where we can just all pause for a second and sort of bring the family back together again and just worship while we do that.
Yeah, I've always loved enjoying to see the worship concerts because I've been to I think 2 of them now, and they've always been so like awe-opening to me to see these kind of performances play out with seeing the older generation that I've seen from my seniors, my juniors, whenever I was here, to be able to see them again and to listen to them play the music that they play whenever I was a sophomore or a junior, and being able to have that. And I'm like, wow, to see this again, I thought I'd never be able to see them. It's like a great connection to have again with them. And to be able to participate in this kind of thing, it's always like always honoring God and honoring the Father, and being able to see that is just always the greatest to me. Yeah. So I've always enjoyed being part of it.
I'm glad. I think it speaks to as well the family atmosphere, the fact that we do have alumni that want to come back so much, and we do have current students who want to see those alumni, and just the fact that we sort of say jokingly, but once a hawk, always a hawk. Yeah. And it that we see it in other places on campus, but I think that is one of the really cool places we get to see it is having these alumni come back and having current students love that and enjoying that and just getting that family moment is kind of cool.
Because there's a whole bunch of cool clubs, or I hate to call it a club,
right?
But they encompass
right.
all of this over here at Hartfield. It's easy to get loyal to that sort of club that you do. And that's one reason why me and him started this, because there's so many opportunities and so many things to get connected, and not a lot of people see it.
Yeah.
So that's why we're trying to get the head of each group to come over here and talk, because there's so many interesting things. It's if me and him didn't get to talk to Mr. Craven about some of the stuff, we would have never done this.
Right.
Yeah.
And, I would have never thought I would speak in front of a whole bunch of people. So
all those viewers,
all of our wonderful people. But, I love the sense of family, and again, it's probably difficult for you even to have 4 years with people, and then it changes, but it's refreshing to have them come back. It's you can do this one last time.
Yeah.
So it's impressive to see. I want to, because of how important the band is, I want to come back to that sometime. But to move it along a little bit, going into theater, which is what most people see when they think fine arts. Can you run us through kind of a recap of what this year's looked like?
This year has been busy. I feel like we are in a spot with theater where we sort of plateaued and kind of got comfortable with where we were, and now we're pushing into some new things, which is really, really cool. The beginning of the year started with Rewritten, which I feel like I need to pause and explain a little bit, because that's one of those things that not a lot of people know what that is. Right. So every year we have a Hartfield student choose a Shakespeare play. And they, over a course of anywhere between 6 to 12 months, spend time researching that play and then rewriting that play into a modern adaptation. And so the show that is seen every fall is a student-written script. It's about 90 minutes long, which is about professional length, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And then the theater class themselves actually make most of the decisions. I'm there to kind of keep the guardrails and to make sure we can pull off everything we want to pull off. But it is student led. They make choices about the set, about the costuming, about what the program is going to look like, about what the poster is going to look like. It, of course, depends on how many people we have in a class. This year, we've got 30 people in theater class, which is large and insane. And Jadon, you get to see that on a daily basis.
All those personalities with them too.
Yes. Trying to make decisions on something some days is difficult, but I love that process because it's not just how our students are learning. They're getting their hands on it. They're learning what it takes to go from concept to actual reality. But they're also having to learn to work with other people that have completely different ideas than they do. And finding a way to bring all of it to the stage in one coherent thought. It's always been magical to watch that happen, for lack of a better term, because it just is. We've been doing that since year 4. And so that's become a Hartfield staple. So Rewritten is our student-written, student-produced fall play.
Yeah.
Which hopefully now everybody will understand what that is. So we start the fall with that. We have introduced our junior musical, which is now our 5th through 7th graders. So that was something we started about 2 years ago, to kind of bridge the gap between some of our younger actors into our upper school actors. And so we have the junior musical, which this year was in November and was Alice in Wonderland. And it was so much fun. And then the spring is fully focused on the big 6th through 12th grade spring musical. And so we started rehearsals for that about 2 weeks ago. That will be in April. Quick plug, April
8th?
April 16th through the 18th.
That's what it was. That's what
You got at least one number.
Well, okay, my brother just said it last night, so that's why I was kind of confused with the numbers.
Well, I'm glad he knows when it is, because he's kind of important in that whole thing.
Let's think about that later.
Yes.
Yes.
But that's for 2.5 months. That is what everything is focused on. And so the theater class becomes a tech class. And they do everything from building sets to planning programs and pulling together props and costumes. And so those are our 3 big things we really focus on during the school year. So we're sort of halfway through the season, but the big things coming.
Rewritten, this is my first and last year for theater, so I got to just jump into this with no experience. But it was a lot of fun for Rewritten just because I don't do acting. I'm not an act. I can speak in front of this. If it's my own voice, I'm good. But if it's somebody else's voice, I don't do great. As you probably know from the Wizard of Oz skit I had to do. Glad that wasn't recorded.
Should have recorded it though.
No, probably not. But it was a lot of fun backstage, even to just get everybody together. Again, 90-minute production, get everything set up, have everybody we're all a creative mind, so it's sometimes difficult to get on the same page. Right. But it was a lot of fun getting everybody together, everything working out, and I think it ended up being a lot of fun.
It was a pretty awesome show. And that whole backstage thing is a whole other beast in and of itself. I think a lot of people see what's on stage
and not anything
and not behind. And that is a whole other skill level that goes very much underappreciated, because it's one of those things that if you're seen, you're not doing it right. And so you're supposed to stay hidden, but it is so hard and it's stressful and it's
I'm trying to plug in the lamp while I'm on stage.
Yes, in the dark.
Down the stairs.
Right. Everything's in the dark and you're moving. And so I think in many cases, people underestimate how stressful being a part of stage crew actually can be. And some of the biggest life lessons I learned was being on stage crew in my early years, just because you have to make 30-second choices.
Yeah.
And whatever you choose, an entire audience of 300 people is about to see and take in. And that's intense.
It was a lot of fun to get into all of that. And then you move in to now with this big spring musical, which is slightly different because some things are already pre-decided.
Right.
And it's the thing that the majority of people go to because it's not a one night, it's 3 night.
Yeah.
So again, I haven't gone to one regretfully, but I also haven't been a part of one until now, which I don't get to do stuff since I'm stage crew until March.
Right.
Yeah.
So can you run us through kind of with as much detail as you can, because some things have to stay secret, about what rehearsals have looked like so far?
So the last 2 weeks have focused on choreography. So one of the big differences between our fall show and a spring musical is there's music. And that music is not just somebody standing up and singing. There are massive group numbers where you have to get a bunch of people to move in the same fashion to rhythm. It's a whole thing. So the last 2 weeks, we have really just hit the ground running with doing as many of the big choreography pieces as humanly possible. Some fun facts about this. So we're doing Peter Pan. That has officially been announced several weeks ago.
No, we did not give information about this at all. She's saying it herself.
It's me. I'll spill the beans.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're doing Peter Pan. Some just fun background things that I think a lot of people wouldn't necessarily know just walking in April. This was actually a show we tried to do a couple years ago, but it was in 2020. And that unfortunately got stopped.
Yes, I remember because my sister was trying to do this play, and then it got shut down because of COVID. And she told it to my brother. She was like, "You are the perfect person for this."
And here we are.
And here we are. So it's a full circle, basically, for the Huttons, at least.
Yes.
Where my sister was like, we almost had it, but then COVID, and then now you get to have it. And so it's like, hey, like all of it's getting unwrapped right here. So.
That's so awesome. There's a lot of those full circle moments. So one of our choreographers, Kaylee Collins, was actually supposed to be Peter Pan in 2020.
Oh my
And
gosh.
she has been our choreographer now for the last couple of years. And so she's going to get to come back and actually choreograph the show that she was supposed to star in. Her brother is also in it. It was supposed to be his first show in the 6th grade. He's now a senior.
Yeah.
And he's going to participate. So there's a lot of those full circle moments. Kaylee is choreographing. Kylie Trammell also choreographing, was also a student at the time, also in it. So it's really kind of cool for me and for them to come back to this show and get to actually spend time with it and see it come to fruition.
After so many years of waiting.
Yes, it's the only show we've never done. So we've never had one where we had to just, it's not going to happen, we can't do it. This was the one. And so we're really excited to bring this to life finally on the Hartfield stage. But yeah, some other fun little things. I think there's going to be a lot of fun, recognizable faces that nobody has seen in a musical before.
Okay.
So I'll just drop that there. Just let y'all come and see that. There's one of the cool things I love about the spring musical is, and this is sort of a hint for some of those faces you're going to see, it has sort of become a tradition for the senior class to participate in some form or fashion, even if they've never participated before.
Right.
So a lot of those faces you're going to see also graduate in May, and it's lots of fun. So yeah,
be sure to look out for those seniors.
So yeah, it's like I said, we've been spending a lot of time on choreography and just trying to get everybody in their groups and dancing, and that has been a lot of fun. We've laughed a lot. Let's put it that way. They're going to do great. But we've also giggled a lot through a lot of this as well.
Got the serious moments and the funny moments all the time.
100%.
Yeah.
Trying to get everything set up right now is probably just really funny with everybody just not in sync quite yet.
Oh yeah, no, that's it. But these are the moments. This is part of why I love what I do. These are the moments that sort of create that family atmosphere. These are the things that everybody's going to go back and talk about. Remember when you couldn't get whatever and you fell on your face and it was hilarious?
Yeah.
And so yeah, these are sort of the memory maker weeks where we're just sort of, we're not feeling the pressure yet.
Yeah.
And so we're just getting to have fun with it and figure out these characters. So
since we've talked about all the smaller details, everything lined up, if anybody listening here is sort of interested in doing these sort of things, because it's a lot of fun to me, if they're a lot more, creative based mind, how should they get into this either this year or moving into next year?
Yeah. So specifically from the theater or performing arts standpoint, I think one of the best on-ramps to any of that is finding a way to work backstage or work in the booth. I've had so many people start with theater just being on stage crew and sort of getting that bug and wanting to be a little bigger part. And so they step into the ensemble. And sometimes they find their niche in that backstage crew and they are exactly what we need there. But that's always been, I feel like, despite the fact that it is, there's a little stress involved and it's pretty fast paced. I think it's also, it's a good learning spot because you're not necessarily you're not in front of an audience per se. You kind of get to hide a little bit in the back. And when you are on stage, it's dark and technically nobody can see you and it's great.
Yeah.
So it's a good stepping stone into just that world in general. Even with things like worship team, we're always looking for people who are capable of, hitting the next button on the slideshow or want to learn something about the sound booth. And so getting to be behind the scenes, I have found has been a really, really good way to get involved with less stakes. But then too, finding other things. Maybe it's not the performing arts that everybody's, that they're finding their talents in. One of the cool things about the visual arts here, we actually have an art showcase that's coming up in April. And those QR codes to participate will be posted all over the place. But that's also a good way to maybe your talents aren't in the performing arts and maybe they're not on the tech side of things. Maybe it's drawing or painting or textiles or baking. Well, then let's figure out a way to showcase your art. And I have found that has led to a lot of other things as well. I've got a lot of students who have participated in the art showcase that end up doing things around the school because their talents have been shown. They end up, we've had a couple of students who have done the culinary art thing and they end up selling their baked goods and doing weddings and birthdays and things like that. So
impressive.
So doing things like the art showcase where again it's all pre-prepared, like you have done your 5 to 10 pieces of artwork. It sits on a table. You're not having to perform or anything. You just get to show what you're doing. Again, or sort of feel a little more low stakes than standing up and singing or playing the guitar or something of that nature. And I love, like I said, technically things like the live stream team doesn't technically fall under fine arts, but I'm a big proponent of that's another creative spot and there are always things that need to be done on that side of things as well, and it takes a creative eye to frame a video and to be able to speak into what's happening at the moment. And so sometimes finding a way in behind the scenes is a good stepping stone.
Earlier you were talking about the art the art kind of shows type and stuff. I remember seeing some of Ryder's work and him growing from that and being able to post it on Instagram or I don't remember what it was, Twitter or something like that. And it got out to a lot of people and people started actually buying his art. And I thought that was pretty cool.
That's pretty,
Started from doing the art show here at Hartfield. So
the school opens up a lot of opportunities, again, with me and him doing our stuff, or again, if you want to be a photographer or you want to do things on the live stream side, please, we need people.
It's a great thing.
So there's just a lot of ways to get into more of the creative side, and it brings a lot more to school than the same kind of, I hate to say it this way, but the same repetitive thing over and over. It's an outlet that you get to still be a part of the school and have your group of people without it being just schoolwork.
Right.
So it's a lot more of what you're interested in and what you're creative in. It's like me and him do up there in the sound booth as well.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. And it's a lot more than people think of. It's just we're pushing a button. Again, you got the whole light setup, which he does.
Yeah.
The soundboard, which, Jared, if you're listening, you made that really complicated. You've got the computer that runs the slideshow, and then you got my side where we run the live stream for it. it's a lot of fun. It's a lot to learn. It's a lot to do. I've enjoyed really doing it.
Yeah.
Good. Well, it takes a creative brain because it's production, right? Like, so figuring out how things flow and how to frame things and when to go and when not to go, and there's a creative side to all of that, even from the technical standpoint. So.
Yeah. Speaking of creativity, we've talked about it a little bit before. Earlier, we kind of tied it into here, but creativity is not really separated from our faith and what we do here for Hartfield or just in general Christian life. So with that, how do you encourage students going into fine arts or just around the school campus, whether it's music or acting or art? How do you help them find what's something God can use with them?
Now you're like hitting in my sweet spot. That's what I'm talking about.
Good. I'm glad to say that.
This is why I do what I do.
Yeah.
One of my favorite phrases is talking about, in regards to this specifically, we are made by a creative creator in his image. And so we are made to be creative in some capacity, whether that means you are creative on a canvas or through a sound system, or you're creative on a field, or you're creative behind a camera. We are made in God's image. He is the ultimate creator. And so the more we engage with that creativity, the more we learn about that skill set and how he has gifted us with those talents, the more we learn about him, and the more we learn about him, the more we learn about who we are supposed to be. And so even those who are not necessarily hands-on involved with the fine arts, I still hope that they walk out of these doors when they graduate and they understand that they are made on purpose and for a purpose. And they go out and they can engage with culture and with the art of culture. Everybody watches TV. Everybody watches movies, listens to music, scrolls Instagram and TikTok. All of those are creative endeavors. You're talking about photography and videography and music and storytelling. And so every single person on the face of the planet is going to engage with those. And so the hope here at Hartfield is either your hands are in it and you are dealing with the creative side of things and therefore learning about your creator through that and therefore who you are, or if you're not on the hands-on side of it, you are witnessing it and participating from the audience side of it, and you are still learning about your creator and therefore about yourself.
Absolutely.
It's why it's sort of a running joke now, but before every show we have the lesson.
What's this about?
Yes.
Before rewritten. A little bit late because of some things.
But yeah, so that's everything we choose to do here. There's a purpose behind it. And it's not just we get into it and we sort of discover what it is. As we are choosing these musicals and the music behind the worship team, we are constantly thinking through, how does this fit? How do we look at this through a Christian lens and through a Christian worldview? And what does God say about how the way these characters have handled things? And can they be a good example, or are they a bad example? And if they're a bad example, what is the good and right choice that they should have made? And so yeah, those of us who are in it and have our hands on it, I think that's something that we get to practice every day. But just because you're sitting in those chairs does not mean you are not engaging with that art, and that you're not learning something about who your creator is. At least that's our prayer.
Right.
That when we present something from the creative side of things, that it's teaching and reflecting more and more about who Christ is, and in turn then who we are from that.
Absolutely. And you mentioned earlier, like in the beginning, that the more we get to do these things, we get to learn our creator, and our creator knows us. A verse that ties well into this that popped in my mind while you were speaking was that he knitted us in our mother's wombs. Like he knows us, he created us how he wanted us to be. He showed the walk of life that he wanted us to take, and all that. All we gotta do is choose him.
Yeah.
And that just tied into what you were saying earlier for that, and I think that's great.
Yeah, it's a privilege to get to watch, because if you look across campus, not one student is made the exact same way, and it's beautiful. It's incredible to me to think about the fact that we serve a God who can be that creative. I have a hard time coming up with 6 different types of ways to do a lesson plan, let alone the billions of people that walk the earth. Like it is absolutely incredible to me. That's the God we serve, that is who we are following. And because of that, and because he made us in his image, we get to partake in a little bit of that. And it gets me excited to share that with students. And my hope is that every single one of them that walks out of those doors, whether they were part of a musical or painted a picture or were hands-on in the creative process, that they are influenced by that thought process.
Absolutely. To move on now, my favorite segments, the hot take tonight. So this is the segment 6. These shouldn't take that long. So to start us off, I have hot take number 1. Fine arts students put in as much work as athletes. It just looks in a different perspective.
Whew.
So with that, during sports, you get that, like, the hard work, you get that work ethic for that kind of stuff. Same thing for fine arts. You have that same kind of thing. You got mentally for it. You got kind of stress sometimes and all these kind of things. So that's obviously another part that people don't really see. For that. Hot take number 2. Oh, sorry.
Right, you wanted to talk about it?
I mean, sure. Let's talk.
Y'all gonna put me in the hot seat.
Yeah.
No, and I think it's one of, if you don't think that you don't sweat during the creative arts. I want somebody to come to a choreography rehearsal. If you could have been in choreography last night, it was
come do what I do, basically.
Yeah. And it's I love the fact that it has, that athletics and fine arts have that in common. And I think that I'm very thankful for our athletic department. They have always been super supportive as well. I've got a lot of people that I have worked with from the athletic department, but it is a mental game. It is a physical game. It just looks a little different than what's happening on the field. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. Now
your hot takes.
Now hot take 2. My fault, y'all. Hot take number 2. Some of the strongest leaders at Hartfield come from the stage, not the locker room.
Whoa.
Okay. So do you care to agree or disagree with this and explain why?
Oh my gosh. Y'all are gonna y'all really are putting me on the hot seat.
I got to say.
Hot take.
Here's the deal. I like this.
We're stepping it up.
You are. And I like this discussion simply like, I'm in the creative arts. I love me some like college football. That's my jam. I think it definitely, they can both put strong leaders out. I think one of the things that is specifically a little different with the fine arts is it's not just week in, week out, it is daily. Specifically when you've got people like our worship team leaders who are on that stage leading people into worship 2-3 times a week, and also walking into classrooms. There's a responsibility on their shoulders, right? Because they are weekly standing up in front of everyone and saying, this is who I am. I am a believer in the God Most High. And there's a lot that comes with that. Y'all know that. We're in classes talking about what that looks like. And when you stand up on that stage and publicly proclaim that is what you believe, you then have to walk it out in the hallways in many ways like others do not. Because the moment that you don't, they're going to go, well, you're a worship leader. Like, what are you doing?
Like, where's your identity?
Right. Yeah. And so I think it maybe isn't more so, but it's just in a different, there's a little more daily sometimes pressure there to walk the walk and to do and be who you say you're going to be.
That's right.
There's so many.
Sorry.
There's so many different people, so there's so many different ways to lead.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be, star athlete or the smartest person in the room. If you are extremely good at what you do and can lead people in what you do, it's a different type of special.
Yep. Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Okay. So to end it off, the third hot take, you don't have to be an artist to be impacted by fine arts.
Oh, amen.
Amen for that one.
That was a hot take for me at all. No, again, we are all created in God's image, and He is the ultimate creator. And so what that looks like may be different. I am not talented in the visual arts whatsoever. I can appreciate them. But if you were to ask me to paint a picture or a portrait, I'd give you a stick person. Like that is just...
That's what I would do too.
Yeah.
The Lord has not given me that gift. He's given me other gifts. But yes, 100%. There are always... And I think finding the creativity in what you're good in, I think that's something else. There's something to be said for creativity doesn't have to be a fine art.
Yeah. There's more to the eye than what it seems to be.
Yes. And so leaning into that part of your gift makes you an artist in some capacity. So yeah, that one I'm with all day long, 100%.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I want to thank you for giving us your time to talk about this. I really enjoy, again, the creative side and what we're doing here. So if you've watched through everything, please subscribe to us on YouTube so you don't miss anything. And then if you watch all the way through this, give us 5 stars on Spotify. Again, a big thank you to Bojangles for sponsoring us for today and for now all the way through. So it's going to be big episodes here in the future sponsored by them. Some may be in the restaurant, so that's going to be fun to do. So thank you for the opportunity. This is going to be good. And as always, go Hawks!